Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a slightly rushed version of the Super League. It's game week 3, and the chairman has had some challenges in terms of his schedule, but we'll get the show on the road anyway. Didn't have time to set up co-coms, so you're stuck with me for the next hour or so. Hopefully, we will be able to get through without too much of a hitch and too many problems. If there's any problems with the sound, if there's any problems with the picture, please let me know in the chat. But it appears that all vital signs are good so far. We'll start the evening with a quick recap of the results from the second round. We had Badgers with their lovely 2-0 victory against Northern Burn. Foss Road with the victory on the road against Fulchester, who'd had a good result against Badgers in the first round. We had Haggis with a very dominant performance against East Coast. We had Los Santos again with a late goal in their game, and this time against Sancte and Duggan's boys. Stackington Exiles was a 1-1 draw. Stanley Sloths in a game of few chances and a parked bus. Red Row Stanley ran out 1-0 winners. And finally, we have Vikings against Dudley Hill, which was a 1-1 draw with, of course, Steve on co-coms, which was most appreciated. Not sure how he manages to memorize all these things that have happened over the last seasons, but I appreciate it. Certainly appreciate the feedback. Evening, Jamie. Evening, Steve. Tato is here. Alex. Oh, both Alex and General Smuts is here. Hello, Alf, Ross, and Mike. Good to see you all. Um, yes. Um, let's see what we've got on the cards for tonight. Apart from me trying to not assign number 24 to Cambiaso, I think that will probably be appreciated. Evening, Mr. Edwards. We'll have a look at the fixtures. And Paul, good evening as well. Badgers against Stackington, Dudley against Haggis, East Coast, Fulchester, Exiles, Los Santos, Foss Road in that big game against Stanley. We have Northern Burn against the Vikings, and Sloths finally versus Sancte Salutis and Doug and guys. Who are bottom of the table so far. Everyone has points, but someone has to be at the bottom, of course. Unfortunately for Duggan, it's them, and then there's Northern Burners down there as well. So a little bit unexpected to see the teams that finished so highly last season. They're sitting down there. Quick look at the table. No surprises for anyone. We're only a couple of games in, so there's no need to go into too much detail. Only clear leader is Foster Road and Hernan Crespo, I believe, and of course Monterrubio with his 10, and we've got Crespo on 4 goals, leading the scorers chart. So without further ado, we'll jump into this, and the game has thrown up East Coast against Fulchester. Dimble is here, and if Dan is here as well, that would obviously be ideal. First of all, we'll have a look at the East Coast squad, and I'll see if Dan is here. Let's have a look at Mr. Dimble and his side. Constantino comes in. As I remember, Gattuso got dropped as well due to poor performance. We've got Kowalczyk in there. We've got Lee Boyer in there as well. See Elias. Robin and Ronaldinho, the front two, the two behind the front man, continue with the same kind of strange looking arrows. Hopefully, it will go well for them. I don't see a captain, so Dimple, if you want to assign someone the captaincy, please let me know. I think normally you let the game decide, but for sure you can pick the captain if you like. Meanwhile, I'm not sure if there's any special demands, but we can give Constantino number 10. That seems like reasonable. So we'll do that. Oh, say Elias. Okay, if you want to change it, then please let me know in the chat. Uh, and meanwhile, we'll have a look at Fulchester United, and we'll see what they have come up with. They do have an extra player. So for anyone wondering why, this is Diego Milito. He doesn't play here, but he is here. So please disregard. It's not that Dan hasn't submitted his correct 24. It's just it's a little bit inconvenient. Whatever happened there in the database, we're not sure. There's a change here. He has Edilson starting up front. I believe that's a change from last time out. Apart from that, a strong look inside. They were perhaps a little bit unlucky to lose there, but they were up against tough opposition. And now he picks numbers. Yes, indeed. This time I did pick a number, and you won't get 24 for Cambiaso, so don't worry. So without further ado, I think we'll kick off the action, and we'll see how we get on in the first game of the evening. Is East Coast against Fulchester, um, and with Dimple looking to bounce back after that defeat against Haggis last time out. We'll double check the commentary speed and we'll kick this off. Bergstrom was selected again. The manager wants to give him a chance to prove himself. He did have a great run at the end of the season, of course, and featured heavily in the playoffs. And although he's had a bit of a slow start to the season, the manager's keeping faith with him. Constantino there looking for a debut goal. He has been popping up a couple of times so far in the first half. Lee Boyer coming up there as well. But it's a strong Colchester defensive lineup, and so far so good for Colchester, holding the zero. We'll have a look at the amount of chances created. It wasn't many, so that's probably not what either manager were looking for, but at least neither of them are losing. I guess that's a positive. Have a look at the halftime performances. We can have a look at East Coast first. Everyone's at sevens and eights. Dimple says as is. Didier Agat is on a six. Constantino on a six. Elias stand out on an eight. Just confirming the condition. Everyone's doing fine. Kovalchuk is down to 87 though. Haven't seen Dan around, but we'll have a look at the Fulchester side anyway. Unlucky for him, both of his central defenders are on yellow cards, which doesn't necessarily bode well for the second half. And they're on a 5 and a 6, which is not ideal. Michelin is on an 8. We'll have a look at the condition. Everyone is doing rather well. And yeah, as Dan isn't here, we'll have to run until 60 minutes and see what will happen with the two central defenders. Hopefully for him, they can stay on the pitch. The way this is going, Fulchester can only improve in the second half and might snatch it, said Alf. Okay, well, we'll see if that's indeed will be the case. It's been a little bit uneventful so far, so hopefully things will pick up for at least one of the sides. First 7 or 8 minutes, nothing happened, and there is unfortunately the red card. Maserati picks that up. Not a lot happened, of course, so far, and now it's a question what the talented Mr. Dan would have done in this case. Let's see what options he has on the bench. Viali could come in. I think as he's away from home, it's probably would probably be a good idea to go two at the back and maybe pull down one of the midfielders. We'll see how they're doing. Zanetti has been playing relatively well, so we won't take him off. Michelin is on an 8. Stewart's on an 8. Zanetti's actually. Oh, this is tricky now. I'm going to have to think about this for a second. I do apologize. Unless Vogel gets pulled back. And he goes with a three-man midfield with Beckham by himself, but that does seem a little bit risky. Tricky. I'm clearly just buying time in the hope that Dan will turn up and actually make the decision for me. But if not, we will improvise. There is an option to play one at the back, of course, as Alf points out, but I'm not sure if that is what Dan would have done. He is up against the lone striker though, but Ronaldinho has the forward arrow, so I think the play is to actually put on a second defender. I'm reluctant to take Zanetti off, but I don't really see any other options apart from maybe putting him on the wing instead of Seedorf. But he's also on a 7. Nielsen's the only one who's not played really well, so against my better judgment, but we're probably going to do this and pull him back and put Michelini over there. And hopefully that's not going to work out too badly for Fulchester. If it does, then I do apologize. We resume the match. We pop back to Dimble. I think Dimble, you said as is as well. Of course, you can make any changes as you want. Apologies for missing that. Constantino still on a 6. I don't know if you want to keep him on. I'll give you a couple of seconds to make up your mind on this one as well. Condition wise, everything is looking good. And Dimble says roll please. So that's what we're going to do. Constantino now trying to get into it there. It's as if the wingers has had a little bit more free space now, and we've gone to two central DMCs instead. But Fulchester holding firm so far. They even had a chance of their own there. East Coast still trying to get through Constantino, but it's Frey with a save there. Vogel doing well in midfield. David Beckham also passing the ball forward. yellow card for Lee Boyer, and there goes the final whistle. Not super exciting, and I'm pleased that Colchester managed to hold on as it was my decision. Didn't create a lot. East Coast will probably be slightly unhappy not to have done a little bit more in the second half, especially with the opponent down to 10 men early in the season still. So I guess not too much to worry about. Although Constantino getting a 6 doesn't seem to be really hitting the ground running as such for East Coast, so slightly disappointing there. In terms of the Fulchester stats, overall good performances, but missing a little bit going forward. Beckham, Edilson, and Danielson didn't really create a lot between them. No shots on target, only one key pass. So, not the best, but we start the evening, and that's what matters. We'll crack on with the next game, which looks like it's going to be Exiles against Los Santos. I believe that Rox is on holiday, so we'll see what can be done in terms of changes, if any are required. Jamie, I saw earlier, he's obviously got a bunch of unhappy players. I think he made one change this week. I cannot for the life of me recall which one, but it's possible there was one. If not, then this is how he lines up. And Jamie, of course, if there's anything I've missed or should have changed, then please let me know. But I believe this is correct. Uh, Slightly strange start to the season for Los Santos Kings, with being involved there with a couple of half decent results, but there were late goals in both games, so probably not the most positive, considering they were also two home games. They are up against Exiles, which don't make any particularly interesting changes, formation or lineup wise. Figo is still out there, slightly asymmetrical. And Farias, which was scheduled to come in, unfortunately hasn't recovered, so he remains on the bench. And Kutuzov still plays. So we'll kick off this one and see how it goes as Exiles take on Los Santos. A good start for the Exiles. See a lot of names popping up. Se Roberto especially. Kutuzov was there as well. Nedved, who's had a terrific start to the season for Los Santos, has also been involved there a couple of times, but no goals for either side yet. Taibi with a lot of involvement there defensively for Los Santos, and Lisa Rosu comes forward, creates a good chance for them. Meanwhile, we see Nesta. I see a lot of defender names, less attacker names, slightly reminiscent of the earlier game that we had today, perhaps with one or two more chances. But it remains 0-0, and we go into half time. So a little bit more exciting than the opener of this evening, but not a huge amount of action so far. Fairly evenly spread out in terms of pass completion and headers won, etc. that we sometimes look at. For the Exiles players, looks a bit of a mixed bag here. Constanzo doing well, of course, in the goal with an 8. Tomasio on an 8 as well. A couple of guys on a 6. Milito on a yellow. Let's hope for him that he doesn't get anyone sent off, as was the case in the earlier game this evening. For Los Santos, 6s and 7s, a couple of 8s, or at least one 8 for Lisa Rosu on the left-hand side. So fairly even distribution, and probably a fairly even game so far, also reflected in the number of chances. So, Jamie, if you are still here, you are of course entitled or allowed to make any substitutions here at halftime as you please. Or if not, then you can confirm and we roll till 60. San Patristan, 2 up front. Yes, we do that. There we go. Ebisand in that AMC role was criticized a little bit. I won't say heavily, but was a little bit criticized last time out. And obviously the manager's seen enough already, and he's going to hope for the second goal coming from his new strike partnership of Tristan and Pizarro. Kick off the second half, and we roll till 60, and we see if any other changes are required. Tristan has already been involved. Pizarro as well. Pizarro again. Oh, that skipped immediately to 70, so apologies for that. Not a lot to mention for the Atletico Exiles here. Milito still on the yellow. 7s and 6s and 8s look like they did at halftime, to be completely honest. Well, they haven't done anything, so that's probably why. Tristan come in, he's on a 7, which is a little bit better than Sand was doing. He's still got Sauri, surprisingly, on a 6. I thought he would be doing a little bit better. Kalatze as well, is slightly disappointing, I guess, as well for the manager. Not sure if you want to make any other changes, Jamie. If so, then please let me know, and if not, we roll until the end of this one. He says as is, so that's how we're going to go. And it's Exiles who has the best of the chances after the short break there, but we're already on 84 minutes. Kutuzov coming forward. Pizarro somehow involved in a defensive action there. Will there be another late goal in this Los Santos game? There will not. It finishes 0-0. Second game of the evening without a huge amount of excitement. Four shots for Exiles, nothing in the second half. A single one for Los Santos. Have a quick look at the player stats and see if there's anything to write home about, although I doubt it. There's Tomasi on an 8, getting the man of the match award. I suppose someone had to get it. Charlie Chaos with a good performance as well there, as usual. Over on the other side, Taibbi the captain with a 7. I guess that's positive. Kalusny with an 8. We do have Nedved on a 7. A couple of chances spread between the players. Pizarro couldn't hit the goal. Tristan came in and didn't do much more than San would have done, to be honest. So, yeah, what an advert for the Super League it's been so far this evening. Indeed, indeed, we're 17 minutes into the stream. We've completed 2 games and we are yet to see a goal. So it's not been the most exciting. But we have Haggis up next against Dudley Hill, and this is often teams that produce goals. Certainly, Haggis have been involved in a fair few so far this season, and Dudley as well has not been completely goalless. I think it's 3 so far. Yeah, 2-2 and 1-1. Indeed, indeed. D is here, of course. He will be looking for Shevchenko to open up some scoring, to open up his account. Tony's on the bench. Trezeguet is the other striker. He keeps some kind of faith in him, I guess. Apart from that, we see John Terry, which should be Chris Perry. I did promise Steve that I would change that, so there it's done. Romashenko on the bench. Collins is still playing. No big surprises there. Trezeguet, will he come good? I mean, he looks good. 20 off the ball, 20 finishing, 18 pace. He should do well, but we'll see. Maybe in a 2 with Shevchenko. Who knows? Um, Steve, if you have any preference for numbers, you can let me know. If not, I will just let it auto. Just considering the number controversy of what was it, Veron getting number 13. Steve says auto, so that's how we're going to go. Proceed to the match. Indeed, Haggis. Um, I struggle to think if there were any changes. I think I made a mistake with the captain, but obviously he won, so so the keeper keeps the captain's armband. I believe it was meant to be Walter Samuel or Cannavaro. I can't remember which one, but either way, the the captain's armband stays on the keeper for this one. Good result last time out for them, 3-0 winners, of course. And I haven't seen Ian around either, so we will just run, and it will be up to you, Steve, to make any changes when that time comes. So, Dudley Hill against Haggis. Let's see if we can get the first goal of the evening. I think we've all got our fingers crossed for that. It certainly makes it a little bit easier to fill these kind of solo chats. 20 minutes and nothing has happened. Yellow card for Samuel, I believe. That was it. Um, Montero comes. Montero opening. Now, yeah, if we're gonna have a goal, let's have it from an unlikely source. Montero opens the scoring for Dudley Hill. We're already at 40 minutes. Monterrubio was trying to do something, but didn't come to anything. I think obviously against East Coast last time out, Haggis were very successful especially in the second half. I believe was it in the second half? Well, anyway, they certainly had a lot of effective wing play. It's been a quiet one again in terms of number of chances created. 2 for Dudley, 1 for Haggis. So we won't dwell too much on that. Pablo Montero on a 9. Very, very strong player, as mentioned. Surprised to see him. Always surprised to see Montero leaving. I guess he picks up a lot of yellows, but he is really, really a strong player. Trezeguet on a 6. Kieran Dyer still on a 6. I think, expensively acquired Kieran Dyer. Steve was probably hoping for a little bit more from him. If you want to do anything at halftime, Steve, let me know. Assist to 60. Okay, we will just have a quick look at Haggis. The manager will be very disappointed with the performances of Fabio Cannavaro and Carlos Schack so far. Not looking good for Haggis. Petkov on a 6 as well. The fixtures. Yeah, the fixtures of the overlay. Indeed, they are the same from the first game week, I think. I kind of forgot they were there. You can also do a new overlay that doesn't have the fixtures on them, Doug, and that's fine. I appreciate the appreciate the support. It's all been a bit of a hectic start and not a lot of time for admin. We'll roll to 60 and see if Dudley can continue the good form from the first half. And if I get a chance to stop it on 60, or if it's just skipping like it was in the previous 2 games. We're at 51 minutes. It's been all Dudley Hill since the restart, and there we are at 64 minutes. So the break will be coming up. Here it is. Here is your Dudley side. I guess Tony for Trezeguet could be an option in terms of condition. Collins is down to 78. That might be something to consider for you as well, Steve. Everyone on a 7 apart from Trezeguet on a 6, and defensively they're doing like that. So let me know if you want to make any changes. Oh, we have a quick look at the Haggis side as well. Um, yeah, Kalashak still on a 5. That won't impress his manager. Cannavaro managed to squeeze up to a 6. Pires is still on a 6. Monterrubio is out there. Tony for Trezeguet, please. Who was 68? It was David Collins who was on 68. So I don't know if you want Hersey on for him, or if you want to do something, or if you want to roll, let us know. No other fitness concerns to speak of. Leave him with it being Collins, right? Okay, so either he thinks he's made of steel or he doesn't care if he gets injured. We'll see which it is. Last 25 minutes, and see if Dudley Hill can extend their lead or if Haggis can find a way back into this. Cannavaro gave away a dangerous free kick there. Oh, Shevchenko scoring on his debut for Dudley Hill. That will please the manager no end. Expensively acquired as well. To see him on the score sheet, perhaps securing the 3 points for Dudley. That's certainly going to be a positive to take away from the manager here. Can they keep a clean sheet as well? Saeed comes forward. Mark Kerr does something, picks up a yellow. Shevchenko with his second of the game, and it's 3-0 for Dudley, who has done a reverse of what Haggis did last time out. 3-0 victory for the home side. Steve would have loved to be on co-coms for that. Rather than the 1-1 draw he had last week, but very, very good second half performance for Dudley Hill there, completely dominating. Haggis not even featuring on the shots on target side at all. Pablo Montero picks up a 10. He gets an assist as well. So really doing wonders. Chris Perry got an 8 next to him. Very good result for Dudley Hill there. Collins finished on 74, so he managed to look after himself for the remainder of the game. And Shevchenko, of course, with his double, 2 shots, both on target and both went in. Over on the Haggis side, this will not please the manager. Cannavaro 5, Petkov 5, Kalashak's 5, bunch of 6s in there as well. Nothing from the strikers. Definitely not something that Ian will be enjoying watching back later this evening when he gets to see the stream. But a great result for Dudley Hill. 3 points on the board, 3 goals in the back of the net, 2 from the debutant and 1 from his superstar defender. So well done to Steve and the Dudley Hill boys. Move on to the next game of the evening. It's turning out to be a quick show, this one. Shevchenko scoring more tonight than all of last season at East Coast. It's possible. I don't have the exact numbers for that, Ross, but it's definitely possible. We continue this evening's action. We have Spartak Kloss. They stay with an arrow, reminiscent of old Sloss formation, I think, with just the 2 AMCs with the arrows in there. It seems somehow familiar. Frank has obviously joined. Manager has high hopes for him, and Rui Costa is still in there. Guardiola comes in at central midfield. Makelele is there. I think Raymer drops out, if I remember rightly. And new signing Southgate comes in as well. It will be very interesting to see how he will do. He obviously did very well in the reserves for Dudley Hill, but didn't really feature in the last season after his exchange move from the Badgers. He scored 4, said Steve. Okay, Shevchenko. But anyway, he looks solid, Gary Southgate. So maybe a good signing. Taribo West still there. Alf obviously waiting for his Be back. Hopefully the temporary sound glitch has been fixed. It certainly looks right, so if you could just confirm that the sound is back, that would be great. Good, 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 good. I was rambling on about Duggan anyway, and the start to the season that the Sanctay team has had. I believe there's a mute button on the wire to my headset. That might have been might have been the issue, just saying. Um, Anyway, I'll save the rambling about Sanctay for another day. The manager will be hoping for an impact from Totti for sure. Um, as they look to get away from 14th place, which is not where you want to be, especially not when you've got ambitions like I'm sure Duggan has after the good season he had the last time out with that slightly unfortunate result against the East Coast in the playoffs. We will have a look and see how this one pans out. Sloss at home to Sanctay. Not the best start for either side, but a good chance for them to make their mark or to get some goals on the board. We kick off the first half, and it's slots coming forward immediately with Kessman, with Keane, with Shearer, all having chances in the first 5 minutes. And if the Rapulus struggles to hold the shot from back, Sanctay looks to hit back. Duff and Montella involved going forward, and Pensa going forward. There's certainly a lot more action in this game that we've seen in the other games so far this evening. No goals so far. We're at 34 minutes and it's Petit coming forward. Makalele is there. Rui Costa is there. Shearer is there. Kessman can't miss. I believe Shearer came up with the assist. An excellent finish to the first half from the slots and very backwards and forwards. Lots of chances at both ends there. Or certainly that's what it looked like. It looked a lot more than 5-4 to me, but Alf will be very pleased with how that first half has panned out. Have a quick look at the Sanctay stats first. Struggling on the wing, Jakarta's up against no one in particular. Duggan says as his cheers and puts a little X. Very cute, thank you. Impensa, Montella, Ambrosini. Is Totti on a 7? Totti is on a 7, yeah. Good average rating there for him. We'll see if he actually delivers as well. Meanwhile, let's have a look at the slot side. We will have a look at the team in here. Yep, 7s and 8s, much improved, and everyone on good fitness. So, Alf, if you want to make any changes, please let us know. If not, then if you can confirm as is. No sub till 60. We concede late, apparently. Don't jinx it. Good save by Khan there. It's been a good start to the second half from Slots again so far. Taribo West with a solid defensive display so far, but it looks as if Duggan's side are coming more into it. They've had a couple of good chances just before we clicked for the 60-minute stop. You're all good on condition, Alf, 89, 90 and above. And in terms of your match ratings, it's 8s and 7s. So let us know if any subs are needed. Ambrosini is sitting on a 6. Duggan says as is. Let's see the condition. Yeah, nothing there to make you change your mind, I believe. So we will see what Alf has to say in terms of subs, or if he wants to roll. Hessman getting his season off to a scoring, not a scoring start because we're in game 3, but it'll be very important for Sloth, I think, to get someone scoring. As it probably a mistake. Well, we'll see if it'll turn out to be a mistake. Half an hour left to play, and it could obviously be more chances for Sloths as well. Don't rule it out. I left the Rapullas with a couple of good saves there. And it's Franca getting involved again. Just 10 minutes to play now. Free kicks awarded. Petit is up there. Now it seems as if Sanctay is getting a couple of chances. Jagata's come in there. Southgate heads it away. Southgate with another good defensive intervention there. And it looks as if Sloths are going to hold on. And indeed they are. 1-0 to the Sloths. 5 shots on target for either side. A bunch of free kicks. Headers evenly distributed. We have a quick look at the slot statistics for the game. At last, says Alpha, you're only 3 games into the season. I don't think it's a I don't think it's that bad, but indeed you managed to hold on and there was a clean sheet there. And look at Gareth Southgate and his performance there. A 9 for him, an 8 for Taribo West, 8 for Makelele as well. Guardiola comes in and gets a 7. Kessman and Shearer forms an excellent partnership up there. Assist for Shearer and the goal for Kessman. A very dominant display from the slots and played out, says Duggan. We look at Duggan's side. Oliver Kahn gets a 9. Solid performance from him as well. Totti's there on an 8. Apart from that, it's mainly sevens, and then there's a single six for Ambrosini there, the defensive midfielder, a little bit overwhelmed up against Robbie Keane and Franca with Rui Costa on that forward arrow as well, so maybe a little bit light defensively with just Ambrosini in there, but difficult to know against the narrow unless you want to sacrifice your own wingers. It's going to be difficult to mark all of Alp's attacking central players, of course. Captain back still on a seven, not really got his season off to a great start either. You aren't far away, Duggan. No, he is not far away. That's indeed correct, Alf. But this looks like he's going to stay in 14th, which is never a nice place to be. As everyone involved knows, I think most people have been there at some point. Certainly, most of the managers. We continue tonight's action with Foss Road Unicorns up against Stanley. This is a game that the we've been all been waiting for to see who keeps their record, the clean sheet record of Stanley or the 100% record of the Unicorns. I'll be very careful with the number assignments. I think Cambiaso is the one coming in there. He's on the left-hand side. We've got Keen Gerard, Veron, Ortega, Crespo, the very, very strong-looking Foss Road side, who's had some very good luck and good performances so far this season. Can Crespo continue his scoring run? That's probably the big question on everybody's lips before the game of this evening. Jakubu, who we were talking about with his excellent attributes, has moved to the bench. Manager wants to see Cambiaso in action. I presume Gerard is in there as well, next to Roy Keane. Very, very strong lineup from Foss Road. I believe Smuts is still here, and if not, Alex is here to take charge of any subs if they are needed. You can even pick. Would you like to choose a number? Pick a number, any number, apart from 24, apparently. I will let you pick if you are around. I apologize. I don't have the background music loaded, so I can't entertain you with this kind of I don't know. I don't know what it was Fifey was playing, but anyway, doesn't seem like the manager is overly interested in assigning a number. Oh, 12. There we are. So we give Cambiaso number 12 and we proceed to the match. Red Rose Stanley, park the bus, and park the bus he does. This is how we line up. I think while Pinto starting is probably the only change, if I remember rightly. Wes Brown, as Steve was mentioned, is already a good player at this point of a run. Uguehiagu, I have no idea how you say his name. I apologize for the butchery. Is doing rather well so far as well. Candela, Nicky Butt, very, very strong defensive lineup, and then he's got those three attacking players, Ronaldo, Tigalco, and Joao Pinto, who came in and did a good job last time out. And we'll see how it goes with Red Rose if they can hang on to that clean sheet record. It's going to have to come down at some point, but will it be tonight? We will have to wait and find out. As we kick this game off, it's Crespo early involved. Just 7 or 8 minutes in, he had the first chance for Foss Road. It's been Stanley after that. Both Ronaldo and Tigalco has had a chance or two. But now Ortega comes forward, gets tackled, gets bullied off the ball. Scally smashes it. I don't need to see Scally score. Ronaldo cannot be contained, and he hits the back of the net for Stanley, who are 1-0 up the away to the impressive Boss Road. But it's Neil Scally who picks up an injury. What is the manager going to do here? Peter Sand seems like a relatively similar player. Maybe move Butt up to central midfield. It's my fault. Just because I dislike him intensely doesn't mean that I want him to be injured. It doesn't bother me, but let's see what Mike does here. Presume we'll see Peter Sand in action and maybe move Butt in there or Sinoni in the central role instead, but I'll let Mike decide, obviously. Galco and Pinto both on a 6. Ronaldo doing all the work up front. Straight swap for Samak. That's not very us parking of you, but we will do it. Is he not more attacking? I guess. Oh, he has got a right hand column. That's not too bad. So I guess he can do a solid job for you in there. He's a big fan of Stimac. Nikki Korenko as well, isn't it, Steve? Who else gets a free pass from you? Some of the guys that that may or may not perform. Anyway, half an hour done. We'll see if Foss Road can find a way back into this before the halftime. 10 minutes flew past, and then it's halftime. So no, they couldn't. They've not even had a shot on target. To do a side of these favorites, players that generally don't do much. We'll see at Stackington later. There'll be Kim Kelstrom and Charlie Miller in action. Well, I look forward to hear your opinion on those, Steve. Obviously, Mike says as is because everyone has been doing well apart from his attacking players, but who cares when you're winning? Nicky Butt's on a yellow. Maybe you want to keep that in mind. Fitness levels are okay apart from Scally, who's down to 36, which is never good. It's not been great from Foss Road Unicorns. They've not managed to break down the bus. Sixes and sevens, nothing interesting. In terms of fitness, everyone is doing well. Alex or Smuts, if you are around. Um, You can let me know if you want to roll or if you want to do something else. As is, we do as is and see what happens in the first 15 minutes of the second half. Verong has a good chance. Cambiaso comes forward. Crespo comes forward as well. 3 or 4 good actions there from Foss Road. And I think it was a drop by the keeper, if I'm not mistaken, and it fell to Crespo, who didn't need a second invitation and equalized for Foss Road Unicorns just as we hit the hour mark. Both managers, again, of course, welcome to make any changes or adjustments here. Everyone in good fitness. Alex is down on a 6, Turam on a 6. Those are your key takeaways. We obviously have Van der Vaart, who could potentially play on the wing. Van der Vaart for Alex. That is indeed the change, and that's it. Over on the other side of the fence, we have Stanley, and still it's not looking brilliant for Pinto or Sigalco up front. Apart from that, players are doing well. Sander Westerveld, unfortunately for the manager, had a bit of a nightmare there. Dropped the ball, I believe, in front of Crespo, and that's the clean sheet record gone. Can they hold on to the draw? Then both teams lose their perfect records, of course. We will see if Mike wants to do anything here or if he's happy to roll. Defensively, they have been doing quite well, to be fair, and with only Sand and Phil Neville on the bench, not a lot of attacking options really. But I'll let Mike confirm. Arrow and Simak to AMC, Arrow and Pintac to SC, done. This is what we're going to do. They're going for it away from home, Stanley, with the bus and the 4-man attack. We'll see if that changes anything in the last half an hour. Well, it allowed Foss Road to take full advantage and go 2-1 up, and it doesn't. Oh, and just as I was about to say that, it doesn't seem to have done anything for Stanley, but Semak pops up from out of nowhere on 80 minutes and equalizes for the visitors. And Sigalco went close there. Sigalco again coming close. Can Stanley find a way to win this? Ronaldo was there again. Foss Road comes forward. Simbrota, but it's disallowed, and the game finishes 2-2. What a hectic last 10 minutes. Where the game really could have gone either way. Big chances at both ends, and a goal disallowed at the very last minute for Foss Road. So both teams lose their record. I didn't give that option, of course, in the quiz earlier, so apologies for that. But yeah, a good backwards and forwards battle there, and I think both managers, on reflection, will probably think it seems like a reasonable, fair result, although they will not be overly impressed with their keepers, considering that out of 6 shots that actually hit the target, 4 of them went in. Let's see how the stats went. Steven Gerrard got man of the match. He got an assist. He got a goal. Crespo with a goal as well takes him to 5-3. Very, very impressive start for him. Kevin Hoffland with a 9 as well, and Esteban Cambiaso with a 9. He likes that number 24. We're wrong, less happy with number 13 and sitting on 7. Cambiaso indeed, just saying, says Alex, and he is there and delivering the numbers for Stanley, Joao Pinto. So there's something to think about for Mike for next time out. Presume the tactic is going to look similar, but Semak came in, did very well from that midfield position with the arrow. Maybe Joao Pinto not the ideal person in that AMC role, but who knows? Mike will go and have a look at that for sure. Good contributions from the wingers as well. Candela and Salihamidzic with 1 assist each from the left and right wing respectively. Excellent result, keeps it interesting, keeps everyone in touch with Foss Road for sure. No running away with that one, as they've lost a 100% record at the top of the table. Moving on, we have Badgers against Stackington for sure. Both managers have been around in the chat, so we will have interactions on these games as well. A couple of changes for Stackington from memory. Something to do with the defensive line for sure. Graverson, I think, comes in, and Charlie Miller comes in. Tato says it was the. I can't remember if he was swearing, but he said it was not a good team. And then he realized that he was playing it, and then he said it was kind of an okay team, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it was. Badger or Clock? Well, the reigning champions. They're up against an incredibly weak side, apparently. So everything apart from a comprehensive victory surely is going to have the press asking questions of the manager for the Badgers. Anyway, sticking with Stackington, Cosmin Contra on the right hand side, Cole on the left, um, aiming to deliver crosses to Saviola, who didn't have the best of starts in the previous game, but certainly came back in the second half and eventually scored, I believe, for Stackington as well. Solid defensive lineup, but Buffon did well as well, and yeah, he'll be hoping for more of the same this evening. There are some numbers to be assigned. I'm not sure if he's that bothered. They're going to get 25 and 26. Seems unlikely, unlucky numbers for anyone, so we will just roll with that. Boothtown Badgers, Roberts, Rossini, Nikiforenko, Giggs. Shimkoviak comes in for his first out of the season on the right-hand side. Mendieta moves to DMC. Should be a diagonal arrow on Kim Kelstrom. Well, I will put the diagonal arrow on them, and apologies for that. Well spotted, Ross. Um, where was I? Aha, the signing of the departure of Simeone and the arrival of Szymkowiak means Mendieta moves to the DMRC role and Szymkowiak comes in on the right hand side. We'll see how that turns out for the Badgers this evening. Rayet is still on the bench. He can have number 8. Love a bit of Kjellström. Does he do well in the Super League normally? Absolutely not. Absolutely not, Alex. But we will see. Like this, Ross. Apologies if I missed that one. I'll just wait for Ross to confirm before we kick off the first half, but I believe that is okay. Now you can discuss the joys of Kim Kellstrom in the meantime between you. Home safe favorite, right? Yeah. Well, even then, people are kind of, I don't know, not convinced about Kim Kellstrom. I think overall, it's not always getting a lot of love, but nah, yeah, it will always be like that. People have their favorites. We'll kick off this one and see if Badgers can show some reigning champion form against Stackington, who apparently are feeling a very, very weak side. We'll see how weak it is, or if Charlie Miller's going to come to make you eat your words, Tato. Let's have a look. Um, it's certainly a decent start for Badgers. They seem to have had the most of the chances in the first 5-6 minutes here. Some wing play. Mendieta has been involved a couple of times from Koviak as well. Mendieta floating in the ball. I did see Kim Kellstrom's name. I'm not sure if it was in a good position, but it's CC Roberts who opened the scoring for the Badgers, and suddenly the time goes very, very quickly, around 40 minutes already. A bit of a jump it took there. Oh, there was a rebound for CC Roberts, but he was unable to put it away. Badgers have been dominating in that first half. 7 shots, 7 on target. Similar game earlier this evening. Was it Sloths? I forget. Someone had this as well. Oh, it was Stee against Haggis, I believe, was seven shots and 7 on target. Badges is going to be as is. The assist was for Nikiforenko. 8s and 7s across the board. There is no reason to make any changes. We have a look at Stackington. Ashley Cole's on a 5. Not ideal in terms of numbers. Bunch of 6s as well from the attacking players. Maybe have a look, Ross, and see if you want to make any adjustments now or if you're going to wait for the 60-minute mark. Defoe, an obvious option if you want to go 2 up top, of course, but we'll see if now is the time for changes or if Ross wants to hang on for a bit longer. Another interesting formation, similar to Stanley, with a plethora of defensive players and just a couple of attackers trying to make the difference. They obviously got 2 goals, Stanley tonight, so maybe Stackington can do the same. We roll till 60 and see what happens. Um, Looks like a busy start for Charlie Miller and Saviola, and the guys from Stackington. They're unable to take advantage. They had a couple of chances. Saviola again there hits the bar, and we get to 60 minutes. There's a yellow card for Novotny, I think. Tato, this is what your team looks like. You're still with 7 and 8s across the board, and no fitness concerns. So let me know if you want to make any changes at this stage. Rossini's on a 7. You have Amoroso on the bench, Ashley Lyth, and Bale Rayat. Meanwhile, over at Stackington, it's not the best debut for Charlie Miller so far. Manager was probably hoping for a little bit more, but if you don't try players, then you'll just never know. Um, Tato says hopefully Miller or Kellstrom gets the equalizer for the Bants. Well, who knows? Who knows? It's not been a great night for Ashley Cole out on that left hand side up against Simkoviak, the new signing um, for Badgers on their right flank. Obviously struggling a little bit there. Jens Novotny's on a yellow, but probably not worth risking taking him off. But I will of course let the manager decide. Saviola on a 6. Mm, Defoe is not exactly going to make a huge amount of difference in the air if he comes on, but we'll see what the manager decides to do. Got some banter training this week, says Alex. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We'll look forward to hearing it. Look forward to hearing it. Stackington manager clearly considering his options here. It's a shame when you bring new players in and they don't really deliver. Defoe for Miller, put him up top. Kim Central, no arrow. Cole for Bonano and swap with Petrov. Done, thanks. Okay, I'll try. Defoe for Miller. That seems fair enough. Put him up top. That's no problem. Kim Central, no arrow. Cole for Bolano. Swap with Petrov. So I guess like this. Who is this guy? Aha, indeed. Yeah, okay. That seems to make sense. Um, I don't think I can interpret it any other way. So hopefully that will be good. We continue with the last half hour and see what happens if Stackington can find the equalizer or if Badgers can hold on. 2 man up top, Foe and Saviola. Are we sure Petrov at LB makes sense? It, that's what was asked for. So I don't know if I did it wrong, but doesn't necessarily seem to have gone particularly well. As Badgers continue to pile on the pressure here in the second half, and they finish 2-0 winners. Very impressive display from the reigning champions back in top form. And Stackington, a little bit of bad luck there. They've obviously had a decent start to the season so far, but they just a little bit overwhelmed here. Nothing makes sense at Stackington. Well, Stilian Petrov actually did a decent job. He got a 7. I think the problems were really elsewhere on the pitch. Saviola with a 5. Defoe came in with a 7. I'm not entirely sure what he did to justify that, but yeah, well, his manager will take it. Not bad to keep the average ratings okay. The and Gravison in the center of midfield did really good job. And Buffon, actually a good job. Surprised he only got a 7, considering that he had actually 9 saves. And Toldo, who had very little to do, got an 8. Very strong performance from that Badgers side. All 8s and 9s. Assists for Edgar Davidson, for Nikiforenko, CC Roberts, man of the match with that 9 and a goal. Rossini, the other scorer. Not often that you see 2 men on top and both of them scoring, so manager will be happy with that. 2 striker formation working out well for him at the moment at the reigning champions. Buffon was busy, indeed he was. Edgar Davids down to 71, 79 fitness. I'm not sure if that's cause for concern, and nothing on the Stackington side. Very, very, very good. We finished the evening with Northern Burn against the Vikings. We're obviously coming up to just around an hour, which is suitable. for the evening. Just before I forget, the packs will not be out tonight, so please don't wait up. I'll try to do them tomorrow, 8, 9ish or something like that in the morning. I'll try to get them done, but it won't be tonight, so apologies in advance for that. Bit of a hectic schedule today. We have a quick look at the Vikings first. I believe Diego Simeone comes in is one change that he has definitely made. I'm not mistaken, there was maybe one more, but I don't recall what it was. Let's see. Maybe that's the only one that Simeone came in. Paul, if there was anything else that I've overlooked or missed, then please let me know. But I believe Simeone coming in was your change. Big signing from Badgers, obviously. Badgers very happy with the performance from Mendieta, who took over from Simeone, and we'll see if Simeone can continue his Badger form at the Vikings. And they are up against Northern Burn, who I've gone with the following lineup, I believe. I think maybe a swap on the bench was everything. Was that Brosek on for Ritko, I think, on the bench was the change that Ian made. If there's anything else, Ian, then please let me know. But I believe this is correct. Northern Burn, poor start to the season for them by their own very high standards, but they are at home now, looking to get some points on the board, getting Saki scoring and Kuhl and Riquelme contributing as well. So hopefully for them, it will be a decent night. They will be looking to get some action against the Vikings, who, under new management, have done okay. It's difficult to come into the Super League. We'll see what Paul can do tonight, but it's a difficult game. Northern Burn always a tough place to visit. We'll kick off the first half and we'll see how it goes. It is still unhappy, so Lee Young Pyo continues on that left-hand side, but he's done well. He's done well for Northern Burn, so in the first couple of games, to be honest, it's definitely not been his fault. Vieira with the opener for Northern Burn after just 15 minutes. It's another tough day for the Vikings. They struggle to create anything really. Although coming up to halftime here, maybe there is the chance Esteberia with was it Esteberia? Is he even playing here? It is. He is Esteberia with a bunch of chances right before half time. But this is what it looks like. Oh, we'll just have a quick look at the stats. So indeed, Vikings came back into it and had a couple of chances there before the end, dominant in the air, worth taking a note of. Cafu on the right hand side, not doing particularly well. Pablo Aymar also on a 6. Fitness wise, we're looking pretty good. Terry Henry on a 6. Ian says as is. Paul, if you want to make any changes, you do have a couple of wingers on the bench, and of course Marcin Palermo, but looks like a stick so far, but I will let you confirm. Meanwhile, we have a quick look at Northern Burn. 6 for Brett Emerton. His manager will not be particularly pleased with that. He obviously let one of his favorites right backs go and brought in Brett Emerson just to see if he could, I guess, get numbers out of him. But it hasn't gone super well so far for Brett Emerson. But at least they're winning. As Ian has already said, as is, we will just wait for Paul to confirm that Vikings also want to roll till 60, or if he wants to do something. Probably a little bit disappointed with Pablo Aymar. Won't say a marquee player, but certainly one of the bigger names, and he could maybe create or contribute a little bit more. Thierry Henry has obviously completely failed to find the form that made him such a fan favorite at the Vikings with the ends last season, with all of the goals that he scored there. But not a lot of luck so far this season. In the Vikings side, 6.5 average for the first 2 games, and he's not on track to improve that so far. Who up top move Esteberia? I'm out in the hole. Simeone Central. I believe that's it. I believe that's it. And we will roll till 60. Thanks, Paul. So a couple of changes there made by the Vikings manager. So far, they I was going to say haven't made any changes. They did have a couple of chances there. Let's just have a look. Yeah, they continue to create Vikings, but they're unable to find the target so far. Again, Vikings. Here we are. Arrow on IMR. Okay, well, that's we can definitely do that. Um, and if there's anything else, if you want to see Palermo, for example, you did swap him with Northern Burn, his old club, etc., etc. If you believe in those kind of things, maybe he'd like to come on and score a goal and repay you the faith in him. Ian says as is. Inzaghi also on a six. Palermo for Thierry Henry. That's what we like to see. Once in Palermo getting a game. I mean that I won't say it's a fact, but it's a high likelihood that that players score against their previous clubs. And I believe, I mean, I don't know if you want to change Baumas on a seven and Cafu, oh, he's on a six, but I don't think Soklu is a reasonable substitute for that, to be honest. So presume that we're going to roll with that for the last hour, half hour. All good. Indeed, indeed, all good. We see for the last half hour of the last game of the evening if Northern Burn can hang on to this or if Viking can find a way back into it. Riquelme getting involved for Northern Burn. We haven't seen a lot of him so far this season. Another big name that Ian has brought in, and he's probably hoping to get a little bit more out of him. Paredes comes forward, Balmer comes forward. Vikings are trying, but it's just as if that they just struggling to get that final good shot on target or to have that really free position where they get the opportunity. Hippier is breaking everything down in the Northern Burn defense, having a good game this evening as far as I can tell. Oh, and there is Riquelme. Mentioned him earlier. The manager was probably hoping for a little bit more from him, and he is getting more from him. Riquelme opens his account for Northern Burn, makes it 2-0, and obviously secures all 3 points for the home side. Effective, kind of even in terms of chances. A little bit more shots from Vikings, one more on target for Northern Burn. So I think Ian will be happy with that. In terms of the defensive display, Patrick Vieira getting man of the match. The Ndiaye, who I criticized last week, he was on a six, I think, at some point, got a nine. But Emerton, probably a fly in the ointment here, still only on a six and having a really poor start to his Northern Burn career. Meanwhile, over at the Vikings, difficult, difficult place to visit. And Wilfred Baumer taking 4 shots, but not doing anyone any favors. Um, but Naya, I mean, if you have strikers to cross the ball to, maybe that would have been a better option. But he chose violence and he chose shots on target. And then sometimes I guess you just gotta have to you just gotta go for it. So Northern Burn get their season underway. Vikings still looking for some consistency and stability, and in particular, probably goals. Disappointed with Henry's performances so far. This concludes the evening. We started off with a couple of slightly uninteresting games in terms of results anyway, 0-0 draws. We did have a Badgers 2-0 win. We have a Dudley Hill 3-0 win. We had a very exciting 2-2 draw in the main event, if you can call it that, of Foss Road and Stanley. And then we had Sloths taking a win against Sancte, and we had a 2-0 victory for Northern Burn against the Vikings, as we just saw. That leaves the table looking like this. We have Foss Road still out in front. Badgers now just 1 point behind them, with the best defensive record in the league, along with Exiles. But Exiles don't score, so that doesn't really help them much. 3 draws so far for Los Santos and Exiles. Yeah, we will see. Exiles, I believe, was meant to be at some point a very, very exciting and chance-generating team. Maybe chances, but not many goals so far. Down at the bottom, Vikings and Sancte sit on 1 point so far. Starting to make our move now, says Tato. Yes, indeed, 32 points to go for the playoffs. Quick look at the fixtures for presumably Thursday, TBC, but put that in your pencil that into your calendar for sure. We have Haggis at home to Exiles, a Scottish derby there. And then we have Los Santos taking on Foss Road. It doesn't get any easier for them as they continue to look for their first win. Sancte as well, taking on Steve's Dudley Hill. Another tricky match for them again with 3 draws, or with the bottom position that they're looking to get away from. They were probably hoping for a home game, but maybe a slightly easier one. We have Sloths trying to continue their good narrow form against East Coast, who are still to hit their stride this season. Stackington at home to Fulchester, an interesting one for Ross against Dan. We have Stanley at home with the bus parking efforts. I'm sure back in action. We will see how long Neil Scally is out for. Who knows if he will feature. We will play Northern Burn, who found a bit of form tonight with Riquelme getting on the score sheet as well. Vikings, another tough one. It's the reigning champions coming to visit, but I'm sure that Paul will have full confidence in his squad and their ability to hit the target. Just take long shots off Wilfred Baumer if you have them on. I didn't check, but maybe worth considering. That's how it stays. I will try to do some player packs, but for very boring macro reasons that I won't get into the details of. You need 30 because that's the maximum number that's it's displayed in here. When you print it, you can see 75 in here, but when you print it to a file, then it lists the first 30. And until we get to 30, I can't do the macros because then I would have to redo them. So once we get to that, then there will be some player stats out and put up on the website, which hopefully will be containing a little bit more information. So, once again, apologies for short notice, for just me rambling on for an hour. We should have had co-coms on, but I didn't really have time to set it up. So, apologies to Alf who did offer. Um, Enjoy the rest of your evening, everyone. Packs will be out tomorrow, and hopefully see and hear you all again on Thursday evening. Thank you very much.